chatty house. We ballin', boy. We going up at the chatty house. We talk about it all, bring the family out. Sub to the channel, hit the lights down. And we only going up when the lights down. Yeah, we just getting started. Ain't no party like a chatty house party. We just getting started. Ain't no party like a chatty house party.
What up? You know what it is. We back in the house. I'm pretty sure at this point, Drew is a mainstay. There's no trades coming back. Right?
No tanking. There's no tanking on this show. There's no tanking on this show.
We tried to send him to another station, but we had to bring him back, just like the Raiders.
I failed the physical.
The mental.
Oh, there's a bowling lockout.
Bro, I switched to golf. You see that? Yeah. I switched to golf, baby. Yeah.
There you go.
Look at you
we
wearing
got one white activity left in my city, so I got to take that up.
Drew, you look lean and mean, like you've been working out, or I don't know, man. You look like you've been working out. Is that the pose workout or what?
Actually, yeah, it's part of the haircut a little bit.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I've been throwing up in the bathroom a lot. I'm thinking that probably helps.
That works. I've heard that works. It works a lot. So
yeah, it's science. Calories in versus calories out. So it's,
yeah,
something like that. So that's what I've been doing. I'm not recommending anybody else, but you know.
I heard Michigan tries that, but he has a no gag reflex, so it doesn't work for him.
Yeah. I move my mouth so much. I figured it's like I might as well just that should work.
Oh God!
I'm gonna leave that alone. Another Michigan joke.
Okay.
All right, well, we got a lot to get to. We, as always, will start off with the Kings. We've seen I call it the Minute Saga. The Minute Saga continues. Not Dr. Dre, but it does seem to be having a huge effect on – it seems to split the whole fan base here, right? Like half the fan base, hey, they don't want to tank, just play it out, watch these young kids develop, get veterans do whatever they do, and let the chips fall where they may. And then you get the batshit crazy, and I won't say that they're crazy because I do understand their point of view. The ones that want the tankers, right? We'll call them the tankers. The tankers want to lose every single game, get as much as a possibility to get those lottery balls or whatever balls they're looking for, and hopefully they stay in the top 5. But it seems to have fluctuated in the last week or so. Kings have gotten hot a little bit up until yesterday. We'll talk about that in a second. I know we talked a little bit about it last week, but I just, how do you guys feel about it watching? Do you like, you were whatever before, but now if you start seeing it out of the top 5, do you change how you feel about it? Or are you just like, whatever happens, happens?
I'm like, whatever happens, happens. I'm probably the worst kind of fan right now because I just don't care.
I doubt that. I doubt you're the worst. You're not over here crashing out the worst.
I'm probably I'm just saying, like, it just, whatever happens, happens. To answer your question though, Manny, I think I do feel a little bit different that when they drop out of that, like if they drop out of that top 5, because it's almost like, okay, what for now? You're going to go all out. You guys are going to play hard. You're going to win some meaningless games. And I'm not saying they should try to lose games, but it's like in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to help anything. So again, I'm indifferent right now. And I think that's the worst place to be in as a fan. And I'd wholeheartedly admit that. I'm just like in that, man, I don't even care right now. So
it's turned into even when the Kings are winning, they're kanging. Like that's what it seems that side is. Like that's as kang as you can get. Like when we need to lose, you win. When you need to win, they lose. So Katrina, what do you think?
I'm with David on that. What's left of the season? It's just like I'm here for the ride. Let's get this over with. And I hate feeling that way because I love the basketball season. I love playoffs and them just not having a shot at anything. I don't know. I'm definitely not team tank, and I'm not like, let's win every game, but I do see the positive in the young guys winning games and getting that winning mentality. I think Russ said it best, like after one of the games, one of the wins, that's why he's there to like have these young guys. Yeah. So I don't know. And as far as like the lottery, like it doesn't even matter at this point. I mean, say they get like the second or third pick, they're gonna, like we said in the chat earlier, like they're gonna pick like the 11th best option. So, and we don't know what Scott Perry's doing, right? So,
Drew, as an outsider, but I mean, you follow the team, or if you even put yourself, like, let's say it was the Warriors, let's say the Warriors were doing this, like, how would you feel about that? Like, what would be your thoughts on it?
I feel like I understand some of the Kings fans like frustrations. Like they played Utah and it took DeMar playing 38 minutes, dropping 40 to beat Utah, who's not trying to win. And I know D'Lo, was pretty steadfast. And Manny, I know that you were of the opinion too that would it be any better if it was Max or Neek scoring those 40 points in a win? And I get it, like a win is a win, but if DeMar scoring 40 points doesn't help the Kings next year in any way, fashion. And obviously there's been plenty of rookies who've had their moments and then they've been out the league or whatever. But I just feel like it's tough as a Kings fan if you're like, not that you're not trying to lose. I don't think any player is trying to lose, but that there's, as a coach, you can make certain substitutions and and that way where you got certain guys on the court who, they're unproven and, they might show out, but they're most likely gonna get a loss. But when you got DeMar DeRozan out there and not a fault to DeMar, but it's like he's playing 37. It's not like, 20-something minutes. Okay. But you're playing a guy 37 minutes against Utah and, 41 points just to get the win. And I mean, hey, if you're a fan, win's a win. But I can understand why Kings fans are like, what are we doing? Like, it's not that they're trying to lose, but I don't see how, games like that where these veterans who are, playing 30, 40 minutes and helping to win. I don't see how that necessarily helps the future. And for me, the culture and all that, if these guys aren't the ones in crunch time, making crunch time buckets, to me, it's like, all right, yeah. So you watched DeMar and Russ, get a crunch time win, but not to say they didn't do anything or they didn't contribute, in the game. But to me, I don't see how that is helping the rookies, moving forward rather than them playing crunch time and taking their lumps. And obviously the roster is depleted, right? Mm-hmm. So it's tricky. They don't have the full complement of players, so it's not like there's not a lot of options, right? Like you got to play Russ, you got to play DeMar, and those guys have been fine. So it's just, it's tricky, but I understand, why some fans are like, hey, why are we, going all out to beat Utah in March, right? So
I think that what you just brought up, Drew, and I'm sorry, Manny, were you about to say that?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was saying, I think what you just brought up, what was getting me frustrated because, like you're saying, if it's going to take, this Herculean effort by DeMar to get the Kings a win, and you're going to play, these almost 40-year-old players and Russ and him to just go all out to try to eke out a win against Utah, or just again, like you're saying, what are you doing? And this is where I kind of disagree with Kenny in saying that play the young guys. Maybe they won't be competitive, but these guys are going to be here next year, though. These guys are like hopefully going to be part of your future. DeMar and Russ probably aren't. Maybe you get Russ for one more year, but you're not counting on his numbers moving forward. And what's it doing these guys? I mean, what's that going to get DeMar? Okay, dude, you scored and you got the Kings a meaningless win. I don't know. That's where I kind of get frustrated with it. And then let's say worse comes worse, they're picking in that 8, 9, 10 range because they win four more games. Okay, then you're going to miss out, like, again, on these top 5, 6 players.
AJs possibly and whatever.
You're not going to get Acuff. You're not going to get, you're going to get somebody who's hopefully, a Neat Clifford level player. Maybe better. I don't know. But I think that's kind of where the frustration comes in. And I'm never going to be like one of those fans who are like, man, they won. Shit. And get mad because they won. But I will wonder in the back of my head, like, what are you doing?
Well, yeah, and that's why with D'Lo, and like all respect, D'Lo, I love D'Lo. I just, for me, he was saying that didn't matter if it was Neek or DeMar who scored the 40, and I'm just like if a young guy is getting hot and just goes off and gets a win as a fan, you're like, damn, all right, he's gonna be here next year. That's a young guy playing in crunch time, making crunch time buckets. Like to me, that helps development, right? Like, it builds confidence. But it's like if it's DeMar, it's like, okay, great, a win is a win, and I get that, but he's not part of the future. And I just don't agree that veterans winning games, playing majority of the minutes help, is like building a culture for younger players.
So I'll push back a little bit on that. Like I understand the fan base being frustrated because I think it's not just a one-off of why are you guys doing it this year, right? It's a level of frustration that has built within the fan base over a large period of time with a brief moment, right? And even if you take it all the way back before Peja and them, then you had this brief moment of that team, which is what, a good 3, 4, 5 year period maybe, and then it went right back to being the Kings that everybody knew, and then you had the Beam team for 1 year, and then it went back to the Kings that everybody knew. And so I think it's more about that. Like it's more about it's accumulation of frustration. And then you're watching everybody else around doing what you as a fan think should be going on here. Yeah. But instead of that, you're getting this. So I get that. I do get that. And I do get what you're saying. But I do say you can't just, part of it is two things. One, I personally don't believe you could just say, hey, we'll start building the culture next year. Okay, guys? Is that cool? All right, cool. Like if you are trying to win if you're Scott Perry and you are trying to build a winning culture, it does have to start now, and you can't just blatantly start losing games. But I also think too, the mistake in what they're doing now is more tied to you put a lame duck coach in a position where he has to coach for his life. Mm-hmm. The only way Doug returns is if he can get something out of these guys, whether it's the rookies or the veterans. And to me, what you're seeing now is guaranteed almost, and I could be wrong, is almost guaranteed that he's going to be the coach next year, unless some great coach, like what Deal would say, like, I don't agree with Doc Rivers being the next coach, but if somebody came off the market all of a sudden that was considered a top 5, top 7 coach where you have to go get them, right? Other than that, I think this is pretty much he's doing what Scott Perry's asked him to do, and he's trying to win as much as possible, and I think that bodes well for him. Otherwise, I think you're like, if he got like a 3-year, average, not lower tier money, but like middle tier money, like maybe he does just tank because he's got that money coming through. But so I think all of that is kind of all tied into all this, whether right or wrong. But like true to what you said, like as far as what you were saying about Russ and DeMar not having roles or lesser roles next year, I'm kind of scared about that part because I almost feel like what they're doing now might lead to them being on the roster next year.
But that's the issue, though, right? That's part of and again, like I want to say, like this isn't a Russ and DeMar. Like I'm not trying to like bag on them. Like it's not their fault that in the position that they're in. But what you said, Manny, that's exactly the point, though. It's like you rely on these guys so much that, like, wouldn't you rather, some of the young guys, Devin Carter's and the Knicks, take their lumps, even the Killian Hayes, take their lumps and, like, at least let these guys play it out. And then that way next year you have a better idea of, like, all right, this guy, hey, actually we surround him. He could be the guy here. But this guy, you know what, he's more of a backup. But I just feel like with so much of the minutes going to these veterans, and again, it's not black and white, right? Like the whole roster to me, the entire year has been in shambles, beginning from the offseason when they traded Valanciunas, for the corpse of Dario Saric, right, David?
Of course.
And just to save $5 million, so they could unlock, I don't know if it was the mid-level to sign Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah.
So let's
talk about that for a second. Let's talk about that for a second, real quick.
I'm not done.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
sir.
go ahead.
Manny said you are.
Go ahead, bro.
I have to put periods in your sentences sometimes. My bad.
You're the host.
Nah, that's all good. But you brought up a good point and sparked something is, we all were lamenting them trading Jonas away and for getting basically nothing. But the silver lining in that, and what's become the silver lining is, if he's still here, he's not saving the team, right? Like we still think they're going to suck, right? Maybe a couple games, maybe one game. Two. Hold on.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But in doing that, it opened up all the minutes for Max, right? So here we see the evolution of Max. I don't think you see what you see now unless Jonas is off the team, because all of a sudden Max is just a backup. I don't think Max starts and then Jonas hits. I think once Sabonis is down, it's Jonas in the starting lineup, and then you have Max maybe getting 15, 20 minutes a game at best, unless you're going to play them next to each other. So I think there is, that's not what they planned, obviously. I'm not saying that whatsoever. It just happened to be part of the silver lining into that move. So do you feel the same about the Jonas move after the fact, knowing that it might have helped develop Max a little bit faster?
You talking to me?
Everybody.
Oh, I'll go first so quick. Sorry, you guys get off. It's not even about that. I'll let David and Katrina talk about the more on the court. I just feel like you gave up an asset for nothing. You know what I mean? You let Gary V come to the garage sale and snake you for nothing, Can I get that for free? With his loud Mickey Mouse voice. Instead, like even if Max was good, then it's like Jonas at the deadline. I feel like it's an asset and he's a good player that you could have got something back for him. So what you said, I agree. That's a good point. Maybe Max doesn't get, but also maybe Drew Eubanks, goes to the bench where he belongs and never sees the court again. But no, that's a fair point, Manny. But my thought is that you just basically got rid of a very useful rotation center in the NBA for basically nothing. And I think that towards the deadline, if you hung on to him, you would have been. And we're well past the deadline now, right? So maybe Max in the beginning, but I feel like he didn't play a whole lot towards the beginning. And so after the deadline, that could have been Max's chance to take off like he kind of has. So
fair point.
Yeah, I just thought, give him away for nothing is what kind of and David kept texting me about how much he hated Dario Saric. So I get it, bro.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Scott Perry's move to get rid of Valanciunas. I never understood it then. I still don't understand it now.
Great.
Yeah, but that's a good point. It's a good question, and it's a good point that it does open up opportunity for more minutes for Max. So I can see the positive in it, but I still don't completely.
Oh, it was a horrible trade at the time for sure. They just looked into Max developing faster.
Right.
I think more than anything.
I feel like the trade had nothing to do with Max in the beginning.
No.
Like I don't think Max was even part of the equation. And again,
that's
I could
the
be
end
wrong.
result. It's the end result of the situation.
So I could be wrong, but it was more about just cutting off $5-6 million to unlock. I don't know. Was it the taxpayer mid-level?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not.
So
I don't think anybody thought it was cousin.
Like you
Max.
gave away an asset just to, be able to sign Dennis Schroeder. Like.
No, absolutely. And again, that's another bad mistake, right?
Yeah.
So, there were plenty, and I think that's where it all comes back to as far as the minutes for DeMar and Russ too, right? Is that fact that when all of us sat here and we were, but even if we thought it was going to be not this bad, but bad, right? None of us sat in before the season started. None of us sat and said this is a contending team, but we all did say basically it was like, we need to move on, right? We've already proven that this isn't working for whatever reason. Let's move on. And they went and doubled down and got Dennis Schroeder and got Russ, and as if they were going to make some playing game and that was going to make everything better. Like if your ceiling is the play-in, which obviously didn't work out, but I really believe there's no way that
I don't think that was I don't think that's ridiculous before the year with the players they had to say the ceiling was a plan. I don't think that's crazy at all.
No, I don't think that's crazy, but I think if you're management and that's what you think your ceiling is, why the hell even go for that?
Yeah.
Like, just tear this out, because if that's your ceiling, then this is already not working.
Yeah. It's like if everything works out, like
Yeah, if everything's
we're in
perfect,
the
we gonna make
9-10
the
game,
play
baby.
in
Let's
just to get eliminated. Like, come on, man. Like, when
yeah,
you
no, I get
like,
you.
if you're doing that with young players, okay, sure, having that ceiling is cool. If you're doing that with future Hall of Famers and all stars, like, that can't be your fucking ceiling.
But I think that's the frustration, right? Like David, even you guys are saying, where it's like, yeah, if it would, and if you're starting, mostly young players, yeah, you're probably gonna get your butt whooped a lot. But at least those guys are. It's like you're learning how to drive. It's like if you sit in the passenger seat, and you could watch for so long, that's fine. You might learn a little something, but until you get in the seat, until you get in there and you merge it on the freeway, you're not gonna know how to drive, right? So I feel like it's similar with a lot of stuff, and those guys gotta be in there in the crunch time in the fourth quarter, taking those shots down 2 with a minute left, just to, so they've been there and they can relate to that, in future seasons. So I think that's just, yeah, but again, like, it's tricky though. It's like you said, all the injuries and the roster limitation. So to me, it's just been a big S show. Like,
what do you think, David?
Well, I mean, going back to what you're talking about with Max and Jonas and all that, I'm wondering how different it does play out if he doesn't make that move, because, I mean, we're assuming full health for Domas. We're assuming Keegan doesn't, I mean, what if he doesn't get hurt? What if those minutes change, like, that stuff around? So there's no really, I don't know, it's kind of, you don't know how that's going to be. I do think that it would have taken away some of Maxim's minutes. But again, I don't think, Jonas was ever going to play, major minutes and everything like that. So I think maybe he still had a chance to develop. It sure as hell wouldn't have helped him with any wins.
Right.
But again, this is one of the things that you have to put on that side of Scott Perry's ledger too, because everyone's willing to be like, all right, well, let's see what he can do. Well, we saw a little bit of it right now. We saw some of it. So I don't know. I think it was just a combination of things that led to disaster. Like, if everything, and this is kind of one of the things that I was frustrated with in the offseason, was that if everything went perfect, this team was what? A 35-40 win team if everything went perfect. So that's why in the offseason I was like, I was for blowing it up, because, again, everything had to go perfect for you to be a play-in team. And just a couple of things went sideways, and this is the result right now. So, I think that's my long-winded way of saying, no matter what he did with Jonas or signing Schroeder, I think by this point that the young guys probably would start to get minutes anyway, because I don't think this team's good enough. So I think it would have been a little bit different, but I think we'd have been still wishing for the same thing at the end, like Drew was saying, and hoping that the young guys can find something, because these guys, I mean, none of these guys were the long-term plan. So
no, for sure. And yeah, his one saving grace was trading back into the first round and then getting Nick and then also getting Max, right? Like, because if he didn't get those two, like, let's say both these guys right now were like either ass or like, I don't know, man. I don't even know if they can be part of an NBA rotation. This whole place would lose its mind. This whole city would lose its mind. Yeah. So that's right. That's the little sliver. Like, we don't know what they're going to be, but they look like they're at least going to be good rotation players. And there's a possibility that if they continue to develop, they could be more than that. But at the very least, they're definitely, part of the future
for the positions that they were drafted in. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about Max, like 20. I mean, Neek was what, 23?
Mm-hmm.
And then Max, obviously 40, 42, something like that. So I feel like, yeah, definitely for the first draft for Scott Perry,
you got bang for your buck.
Yeah, it's definitely been solid. And for me, it's like I get the negativity, for Kings fans, because I always hear, oh, we're not going to get the number. We're going to get screwed by the league. We're going to draft and I get it, but it's
PTSD is wild.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, that PTSD. I get it. But I mean, and some people are quick to be like, well, so and so was drafted number 50. I'm like, yeah, okay. Well, how many scrubs were drafted in the second round. Like, yeah, of course, there's always those diamonds in the rough, but I feel like that's the exception, not the rule. And you can't bank on that. Obviously, wherever you're slotted at, you got to make the right pick because, everybody can name plenty of busts, from the top of the draft. So you got to hit on your pick. But I think so far for the first draft for Perry, I don't know if Neek and Max are part of his pillars, but I feel like he got two solid picks in the first draft. So I feel like you gotta at least give him the benefit of the doubt,
well, that's the thing for me is like that's why I don't worry about him. I know it's a running joke. I don't think necessarily everyone believes this, but I think some people do. Is I don't think that if they pick 3 or 4, you're going to see Scott Perry pick the 11th best player or go like pull what we've seen other GMs do in the past and try to find. Like I think in his eyes, he knows what they need and he's going to pick it within that range. Now, there's no guarantee, even if it's A-Cup or whether it's Brown, wherever he picks it, that's necessarily that player is going to work out. Like, for everybody says this is a 6-player, let's assume it's what everybody says. It's a 6-player draft. At least 2 of those 6 aren't going to pan out. Yeah. Like it's very rare that every 1 through 6 in a draft, all of them are like superstars or Hall of Famers. Like there's at least 2 that aren't going to work out on their team probably, right? 1 to 2. So you don't know. You might be the one that picked that 1 or 2 and it looked good when you picked them, but it doesn't end up being. So
you never know. What was that 2020 NFL draft with Lance and Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson? Yeah, Justin Fields. Yeah, I was like, this is QB draft is loaded. And it's like, well, who actually who really worked out? So obviously different sport, but yeah, to your point, Manny, it's like nothing's ever guaranteed. But if I'm the Kings, like I'm drafting BPA. Like I don't care. Like I don't feel there's any player on the Kings right now that you're like, we already have this guy and this guy plays the same position. We can't take him.
That Scooter.
Oh, Keegan's trade bait. Keegan's bait like like fishing on the Delta, boy.
So what about Katrina? Do you think that like do you feel I won't say like you believe in him necessarily because I don't know if any of us really believe in him yet, but do you believe that if we pick in the top 5 that Scott Perry will do the right thing and pick one of the top 5 players or what's considered one of the top 5, 6 players?
I still have faith in him. I mean, I think he has a pretty good track record. So I think he knows what he's doing. I don't like all his moves so far, but we'll see.
And also, I think it was said today too, like, and I think, Katrina, you tell me what you think, but I also think that Vivek has to stay out of all this at this point.
Oh,
he caused this mess. Let Scott Perry cook and do what he's got to do. I don't know how much involved he was with the Schroeder, and then Schroeder did an interview. It was either yesterday or the day before where they basically asked him about Sacramento, and basically he said, "I don't want. You could ask me in the offseason, but let's just say the Kings didn't hold up their end of the bargain and doing the things they said they were going to do." Which that to me that points to Vivek more than Scott Perry.
Schroeder said that.
Yes,
he's a crybaby.
No,
he is.
He might be a crybaby.
When the Warriors
doesn't mean it's not true.
Damn tribute video.
We're not talking about the Warriors. Crybaby. It doesn't mean it's not true.
No, he punched the crybaby.
He's a whiner.
Hold on.
Doesn't matter.
He punched the crybaby. Don't forget that.
He did punch Luka Doncic.
He's a Kings legend for that.
Yeah, okay.
For that,
sure. Okay, yeah.
And again, you could be a crybaby
right,
and still tell the truth.
Congratulations, buddy.
You could be a crybaby and still tell the truth. And there's nothing that he said that I sat there and was like, I don't believe you. I fully believe that. 100%.
You believe anything. That's the problem.
No, I believe that the Kings organization sucks. So I do believe I'm sure Russ probably got the same spiel, only they keep feeding Russ. So it's a little bit different. But
I think both things could be true too, because what I do believe too is Dennis played like ass when he was here. He couldn't shoot the damn ball to save his life, and it's like, what do they want? I mean, if part of the promise was to play him and start him at point guard, well, dude, you wouldn't holding up your end of the bargain either because you sucked.
Preach.
No, I agree with you 100%. Again, no one's saying that. Yeah, it's like what you said. Two truths can be the same at the same time. Is he a crybaby? Absolutely. But are we surprised that somebody that left the Kings said that the organization is ass? Absolutely not.
Fair.
So
That's
I mean,
fair. Could be a crybaby and be telling the truth. That's
yes,
fair, man.
absolutely. So he's a crybaby truther. That's all.
But then, I mean, the other part of that too is somebody just brought up the guy. It was kind of a hot button topic all season was Keon Ellis. I mean, not that he's playing at an all-star level, but I mean, again, what like D'Lo says it all the time, what are the fans and what is everybody around the league seeing that the Kings don't see?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's playing pretty well right now for the Cavs.
I think Manny, you've been talking about that for a minute, bro. Like your point about Keon.
I'm not saying the guy was going to be like, an all-star or anything like that. Sure. But again, if the Kings can't recognize their own talent,
Queta.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
they develop well, and then they stop you. Like they develop in the G League, like Keon, Queta. Like they develop well, they bring them up. And then they bring them up basically for no reason because they'll get DMPs left and right and play once in a while, have a good game. They get 2 more DMPs, and then they trade them off. And wow, look what happened. They're good, serviceable players. And nobody's saying that either one of them is going to change the course of this organization. But those are the kind of players like, what are you developing for? Other people? Like, what is the point of developing a player if you don't develop them for yourself?
But your point, Manny, what you always said about Keon that stuck out to me, you're like, yeah, Keon would probably flourish on the Warriors. He would flourish on a team where he has a specific role. You know what I mean? Because Keon to me is not like he's not some guy you're gonna build around or maybe be a starter, but he's a guy who has a specific skill set. And to me, he always reminds me of GP2. Obviously, he's a better shooter than GP2. But GP2 is just a guy who comes off the bench. He's only 6'2", 6'3". He's got long arms. He can get up there, and he's just a pest on defense, right? Like, first quarter, 3 minutes left. You got the starting point guard in. Here comes GP2, right? Coming in with fresh legs, just being annoying as hell, like a fly at a picnic. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And like for the Kings, is he gonna maybe he might not contribute to wins on the Kings, but it's always like this guy can play ball. He can shoot the three. He can play defense. He's very role specific, but he's very good at that role. So it's just like the Kings didn't really have that infrastructure of like solid rotations where they can be like, hey, Keon, come in at the 4-minute mark, replace so-and-so. And I think he just kind of got lost in the sauce. And a lot of people had the complaints with Mike Brown, right? They said, oh, Mike Brown doesn't play Keon. Get Mike Brown out of here. Get Doug in here. He knows the players. And then Doug's in here, and Keon's not playing much either. So
my thing was, though, that was he not playing good enough, so you just included him as filler in another trade? I was like, I mean, that's what you did with the guy? And that's what pissed me off is like, okay, you didn't get like a second-round pick. You didn't get, like another young player, a development player in return. You included him. You included him
another combo.
And got rid of his ass.
Yeah, Katrina, what you think about Keon?
Man, I didn't think he got enough playing time, but again, with the roster and the injuries and I don't know. I don't think he was a good fit with the current roster. Mm-hmm. So I'm not crying that he's gone, but the same thing, like what Manny was saying about like developing players, like you develop these players and like they're gonna go off and play for another team.
And flourish.
So, yes, exactly.
Flourish everywhere else but in Europe.
Devin Carter's just waiting.
Yeah. That's going to be
well.
hilarious.
I think it seems to me, from the outside, it seems like everybody's like the goal is to you got to find a star, find a guy, and obviously you need that. But to me, it's like that doesn't mean you don't need role players. And I feel like role player has become some kind of like a bad term or something like that. Like, oh, he's just a role player. It's like, well, I mean, every team, and I always go back to the Warriors. Like Zaza Pachulia was a starting center. He played like 20 minutes. He started the game. did his thing. Iguodala did his thing, came off the, there's like, just because you're a role player, you need those guys. Obviously, Steph and Clay and whoever, but even with OKC, it's like, they got SGA and Jalen and Chad, but how many other guys do they have on the roster? Wiggins and guys like that can come in. They have Hardenstein, obviously, and Case and Wallace. They just have a lot of guys that can come in and play a role. Maybe can they have a bigger role somewhere else? Maybe, but like they come in and just do their job. But they're able to do that because they have the structure and the roster balance, and and the players around them. That allow those certain guys to just play their certain role and not have to try to do too much. And I feel like with the Kings, even with Keon, back to the whole contract situation, right? Like they could have, they didn't have to pick up his option. They could have declined that and worked out a deal, but they didn't because, and again, it all ties back in like a damn spider web, right? They didn't do that because they picked up his option because it was cheap, allowed them to save money so they can make these other bullshit moves that accounted to nothing, right? And so now Keon's on a 1-year deal. And from what I've watched, is he trying a little bit too hard, right? Because he doesn't have a deal. Now is he trying to do a little too much on his team because he doesn't have a guaranteed deal, and he's trying to show that, hey, I can do more than just this because maybe he's trying to impress other teams to get a contract in the offseason. So
to that point too, when you're talking about roster construction and they didn't have, like you're saying, they didn't have the players around them to allow a player like Keon Ellis to play. The Kings are full of dudes who aren't this or aren't that. Mm-hmm. Levine, he's not a shooting guard. He's not a small forward. DeMar, he's not a shooting guard. He's not a small forward. Keegan, he's not a 3. He's not a 4. Domas, he's not a 5. He's not a 4. It's like, dude, you guys are a team full of Antoine Jamesons and not as good a scorer as Antoine Jameson.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a junior high in there, a bunch of tweens, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like nobody has a set role on this team, and that you got a collection of dudes just playing ball out there, and it's like, if you're going to do that, then you better have somebody like De'Aaron Fox who could take over a game and add something dynamic to the team, because they don't have anything dynamic on the team right now where another team has to game plan for. And that's what I was saying before. So again, we'll see. And this is where, they're hoping to hit on the guy in the draft, because if you can get somebody like a Peterson, you can get somebody like a DeBonster or a Cuff or something like that, then you have that player you can build around and you start filling out that roster. Right now, there's nobody on this team. You're like, okay, this guy's going to lead us for the next 10 years.
And this is part of the reason why, I think everybody at first, when they saw San Antonio everyone assumed once they got Wemby and everything, like Fox's time in San Antonio was going to be short, right? Like he might get traded at some point. They're not going to give him this max.
That was Kings fans only.
No, that wasn't. It was plenty of people that were saying that. Because I thought a lot of people thought maybe at some point Harper could be the point guard, or even
not a
point guard.
It's a rookie.
But the other part of it was that I think the one thing that San Antonio did pay attention to and notice was don't sign him because you think that Fox is the one. Let him be in his comfort spot, because you could tell Fox's comfort spot has never been I'm the main person on this team. It's I can do what I do when I want to do it, but I need somebody else there too, right? And now with Wemby, he's in that position where it's like he can be himself, but not feel like he has to take over the world to do it, because that's not in his nature to do that. Yeah. But if Wemby's struggling or something's happened, for a game or two, I could be that dude. I can do this. I'm still one of the fastest guys downhill that's in the league. And San Antonio recognized that, and they signed him to it because for them that's worth it. Whereas the Kings, they never saw that. They just kept wanting him to be what they wanted him to be, what they expected him to be, instead of just taking for face value what you see on the floor every single night. And that's the difference between a smart organization and a dumb organization.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's why I was like, oh, he's overpaid. It's like, bro, it's not your money. Like, who cares? Like, even like some people were defending the Kings ownership, like, oh, why go into the luxury tax? This team wasn't that. Bro, who cares? That ain't your money. They made the playoffs. Spend that money. You charging for the tickets, but you don't want to put that money. You want to spend that luxury tax, though, right? And that's where, as a fan, I'm gonna be like, hey, like, yeah, we made the playoffs, but you didn't do nothing after that, and you jacked up prices, and you know, I mean, you charge a premium for a team that's not even fun anymore. You know what I mean? Even with the Beam team, I know people could say they've had a cap on it, but they were putting up points, right? Like, no matter what, even some of the Warrior teams that were horrible, like, they have Monte, they will put up points. They were exciting, and at least, you know, you got people show up. But for the Kings, like, what are people showing up for right now?
Yeah, well, the quicker this season is over and we see what the draft picks
Red
are,
Panda?
the better. So we'll see what happens. David, I got to ask you about, since been, you know, you already know. What did you think about the aftermath of the Crosby trade? Like, after you hear everything he said, I'm sure you've heard some of it. I don't know if you watched the pod at all, but I'm sure you've seen the snippets of some of the things he said about when he got to Baltimore, and it was kind of weird and surreal. And he kind of already knew he wasn't going to end up passing the physical. What did you think about that whole thing?
I said it earlier in the chat. I think I think they obviously could have treated him better. But again, you know, I mean, I'm not like a bunch of Raider fans are going at Baltimore right now and tell this guy's a coward. This guy, man, they did what was best. They thought was best for the team, and giving up 2 number ones, they didn't want to do it because they were in the position to sign Trey Hendrickson, and that's their prerogative. So I mean, it is what it is, you know. Like, and if that gets us Max Crosby back and you know, motivated to play, and you know, he's bought all in, you know, fine. But you know, remember, he did ask to be traded, you know, and they tried to trade him, didn't do it, and you know, the Raiders weren't going to accept peanuts for him, so he's back on the team now. If he's
Is it a blessing in disguise to you?
I think so, because I mean, they're good. I mean, what, you know, they brought in some of these, like I said, the Raiders have always lacked in linebacker depth, and they finally added some good linebackers to the team, and that's only going to help having your star pass rusher there. So, and I don't think they were going to draft anybody at 14 that was going to be better than Max Crosby in the next, you know, 3 to 4 years. You know, so I mean, I'm not mad at it. Like I said, I mean, I thought it was a good trade for the Raiders to get those 2 draft picks. But in the end, I mean, I think it's almost a wash. You get your star pass rusher back, bought in allegedly, and you know, you're still probably picking a quarterback. So I think they pretty much are, you know, where they were going to be. Like, I'm not with the aftermath and, you know, who said this, who said that. I mean, I really don't care. You know, I mean, it doesn't really bother me like it does some fans.
We're burying the NFL lead. Katrina, can we talk about Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs, for Christ's sake?
Yay. Didn't we already talk about that?
We did.
Oh, well, whatever. I was excited. I guess you're not. Some Chiefs fans, my ass.
I'm just not
there.
there.
Justin Fields, too.
Justin Fields?
Right. Yay.
Here you go. Good old
Cooking, baby. And Travis is back.
Watch out now.
Yeah, if Mahomes is back by week 1,
approved.
they're back in it. And David, I actually think you guys might be that
I do
one
not
team
have 7 teams
that makes the playoffs.
17 is nasty.
From worst to the playoffs, I don't know.
There's always one team every year. Baby. There's one team every year for the last 7 or 8 years where they went from worst to last, from last to the playoffs. So I think
worst to first, man. You get it right. God damn it.
Yep. So I think that might happen. I don't know. It just depends on how fast.
That's wishful thinking, but they're in the right direction, though.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Denver added Waddle.
That's a good pickup for them.
Is Bo Nix still waddling?
All
right. I'm sorry, guys. David is not.
I love it. But I thought that, do you guys think that this changes anything in the free agency thing with the league? Like, because they seem to do this every year. They announce things like way before, like 2 days before it can actually happen. and now you have something like this that happens. Do you think things change in the process?
I don't think so. It's not the first time that it's happened, and I think obviously because of the nature of the deal and the fact that Max is a elite pass rusher. I think that had more to do with it because I definitely have heard of, usually it's on a lower level. Maybe certain guys agree to a deal, but then obviously it's not set in stone, and sometimes there's moving parts and other teams, blah blah blah. Even with coaches, was it McDaniels who was supposed to be the head coach of the Colts, and then said, "All right, just kidding, I'm not going to do that," and he bounced to the Patriots.
Yep.
So it's not. I mean, it's happened before, but to me, if you're a team, it's like that's it's a little like. I know David kind of said it is what it is, but if I'm a team, I'm like, it's a little snaky.
I think the Raiders aren't going to deal with Baltimore for a while.
Other than that, I was teams, I wouldn't be in a rush to help them out. If they're, because there's always teams who are in the hunt, but maybe their running back goes down or their cornerback goes down. And you're a team who has one, and you're like, all right, what? Yeah, what you got for me? Because we ain't, and I don't know the relationship between certain GMs. I know this has happened before with the Ravens some years back, but I don't know because I know the Cowboys doctor apparently was one of the doctors consulting on the knee. So I don't know. Like, to me, it still is like it's bad business regardless. Because perception is reality, right? So
yeah,
it was, but I think people are going to do what's best for their teams. I mean, how many teams are pissed off at Utah and OKC for accumulating all these picks, and they're like, man, they'll be the first ones in line to deal with
right. Them. Yeah. It's like if you're the one who's not doing it, it's a problem. When I do it, it's a problem. When you do it, it's okay. Yeah. So I agree, David. It's one of those things where it's like, hey, do it, fake it till you make it, whatever you want to call it. Like, you do what you got to do to get ahead, and that's unfortunately is America in a nutshell, right? Do whatever you got to do to get ahead.
We'll see what happens in the next couple of years and see if that actually affects Baltimore at all, or if it's just business as usual. Speaking of business as usual, Katrina, I know you were waiting for this.
Wrestling talk?
That too, but also John Pose's favorite sport, the WNBA league. He hit me up late.
Yeah, he was asking me too about it.
Yeah, what's going to happen? Will I be able to watch it? I was like, bro, don't fret. You're going to get the WNBA on time. And so there we have it. 51 days before the season starts. Deal's done. Salary cap, it starts at $7 million, up from 1.5. They said average revenue share would be nearly 20% across the whole deal. They have a supermax that starts at 1.4, which was about $250,000 beforehand. And then the average salary went from $120,000 last year to $600,000 coming up, with the minimum going from a paltry $66,000 to $300,000 being the minimum. So, Katrina, what are your thoughts about this?
About damn time. I mean, I'm relieved. I'm glad. I'm happy for them that they resolved it on time. It's a huge step up from where they were at. Major, like Damian was saying, a lot of these players had to go overseas and play, to make enough money. They just were not making enough money. Okay, Drew. And I wanted to say Unrivaled has kind of been that, saving grace for these players to not have to go overseas to play. But man, I'm really happy for them. Ready for the season to start. It's great.
David, I know you have kids, right? So I don't know, are any of your kids into the WNBA? Just curious.
Getting into it a little bit, they recognize a lot more players now, and say what you want about them, man. But Clark and Reese got a lot of new fans watching the game, and I think they know some of the players now because of them. as far as what Katrina was saying, I mean, I wonder too, and this is like, I'll admit this is coming from a place of ignorance. I really do wonder like how much the W does make, like because they're never going to open their books for people to see, and I'm wondering, if the league capitulated and gave them 1.5 as a super max, could they have afforded 3, or is that the limit? Because I mean, I think because Trista, she always comes on and she kind of, they're doing this, they're doing that, and I don't think we know. We don't know what what it's costing the zoners to. And I'm not saying they're right or wrong or whatever, but I'm just saying we just don't know. Right. So when they jumped up in salary that much, when they went from 250 to 1.5, it kind of lends me to think that, okay, if you were willing to go to 1.5, you probably could have went to 2.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I think to me, I mean, it's a great step that they're going to get paid, but it also too, it's not a great deal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the revenue sharing was what, 20%? And I know, that they have to grow first before you can give them to them. So, me not knowing where the league was at, like, I don't know if this was, and Katrina, you could speak to this better than me, Manny, you guys, like, do the players, because I haven't really read no interviews, do they consider this a good deal? Like do people think this is a good deal, or do they think it's the best they can get, or like, where are people with this?
So I think the first thing that you have to do is you have to look at what was the first offer, right? Even though that's always in any negotiation, we know that's not what it's going to be, right? It's just it's the start of a negotiation. The league's going to test the players and see how much the resolve is, and then from there you're playing bend or break, right? I do think there's a big part of this that nobody's talked about or doesn't talk about. One of the most important things that hasn't happened yet, right? Which is, I believe it's 10 years. I might be off on the years, but I think it's 10 years. So let's just say 10 years from now is when officially the NBA backs out of this whole thing and they're standing on their own league. Because since the beginning, this has been backed by the NBA, right? In every shape, form, or fashion. And I believe it was last year when they announced that the NBA signed their last deal with the WNBA, and it was said that I think it's a 10-year deal or 8-year deal, something like that, where at the end of that deal, the money doesn't get funneled through the NBA will not bail out or do any kind of sort of financial backing of the league anymore. It's their own league. They're responsible for themselves. So I think when that happens is when you're going to really see where this league stands, right? And I think that's a long period of time between now and then of this is where it's very crucial in the next 5 to 6 to 7 years that this brand grows. And I call it a brand because that's what it is, right? It's a business, it's a brand at the end of the day. And owners aren't going to stick around unless it's making them money. So I think right now, right, if you put it in the form of stocks, the stocks are as high, they're on their way, they're high and they're rising. Now, where are we going to be from years from now and all that? We don't know. And I'm not sure that this particular commissioner is the commissioner to be able to take it to the next level, but that's up to the players to make that kind of decision.
The commissioner who talking down on one of her superstars, that commissioner?
Yep, that one, yes. So I personally don't think she should be the one leading this league forward, but we'll see whether she is or isn't in the next couple of years, and we'll see if the players and the league take advantage of all this, the push that they have right now and are able to get on their own 2 feet and make it where, again, when 10 years from now, it's flourishing, it's making crazy amount of money, and it's, that next negotiation is going to be crazy, hopefully.
The hell was that?
I don't know.
Alien garage, bro. We fighting off fucking mosquitoes and shit, bro. It's a battle out here.
That looked like a slug. That looked like a slug going across. Like, oh, you're about to get invaded. It was like one of those movies.
I got the off.
Oof. But like I said, I thought it was important that it got done. It was important it got done now, because now they have to really get on it. Like this, you still have to do the trades and everything else that comes before the season starts. Training camp, all that. Free agency, all that. So. And then I also wonder, and I don't think this is a question we can answer today, but how does this affect Unrivaled? right? Because even though it is an off-season thing for them, like how many of these players, if they are getting, the 3 million or whatever, are they really going to want to go to Unrivaled? Because for a long time, Unrivaled was, or the last couple of years that it's been around, is because it was income that they needed, right? So, so they didn't have to go overseas. Now they don't even have to do that for the star players. So if you don't even get star players to play
have to, but it pays pretty nice.
No. And that's the thing, right? Nobody hates money.
Yeah, right. They like pay twice as much for maybe a 2-month span of time. So
I'll go back to kind of what I was saying, and like Katrina and everybody else. I guess because Katrina was talking about earlier, like from what you've read and paid attention to, do the players in the WNBA, do they consider this a good deal?
I personally have not read anything today. Okay. I personally believe we wouldn't be at this point if they didn't. I don't think they would have agreed to it, and I don't. I obviously think it could have been better, but I don't know. So
I think it also depends on the tier of players, right? Like if you look at how let's think about the last NBA one where we now notice the lower tier players are pushed out of the league, and it's only the rich players that are really benefiting from a lot of, right? Where I don't see that here. Like, I think this was the opposite, where like maybe more on top could have been done. But I think if you look at the minimums for the players that, right, they did a good job for them, for the average Joe player, right? Because we saw, and I think I put in the chat earlier, like we were watching first round picks get cut the same year that they were drafted, which is insane.
That's crazy.
So I think this is where now you won't see that.
Huh? What? Huh? What happened? What did I say?
Anyway. So I think in that end of it, like it's a great deal. I think it's a great deal on that side of it. And I think that was more important than the guys that, like you said, Katrina, like the stars are still probably going to go to Unrivaled and make that extra money anyway. But it's the lower players that were really suffering that I think benefit more from anybody in this deal. And I think everybody wins at that.
Right. And like some players might ball out one season and end up in Unrivaled and then cash out from being in it. So I just think it's an additional opportunity that
absolutely.
I'm happy they have. So
cool. So I do want to do a little bit of March Madness, but before I get there real quick, because it just happened, did anybody else watch the World Baseball Classic?
I watched the games.
If you did you treat it like, to you, like David, Katrina, Drew, did you think of it as the World Cup of baseball? Like, I know a lot of people that might not be like they don't watch baseball every night. They might have watched all these games, right? Because I'm like that with soccer. I can't sit around just watching soccer all the time. But for particular games, I'm all in. And with the World Cup, I'm always all in because of it's such a grand stage.
Right.
I was wondering if you guys felt the same way about the World Baseball Classic, or you just loved it because you loved it.
No, I agree. Like I really don't have that much time to watch this game, that game, this, that, but I definitely kept up with it, and it is something special, and anyone that loves baseball should definitely tap in.
I liked watching the games, and I think I did. I mean, like I'm kind of thinking back at like what my mindset was, and I think I was kind of treating it like an Olympics, like, okay, it's the U.S., they're playing. But I think what got me yesterday was when Venezuela won. I was kind of bummed that the U.S. lost, but man, them players cared about it. You know what I'm saying? Like those Venezuelan players and the U.S. players and everybody playing in that tournament, like they cared about it. And it kind of, I don't know, made me feel a certain way, like, okay, these dudes it means something to them too. So I think the next time it comes around, I might be a little bit more bought in. Like I watched probably the last, I'd say, 3 games the U.S. played in. Like I didn't watch, or no, it was the last 2 games. Like I didn't watch the whole thing just because, again, I just didn't. Up until it got to the end, I didn't pay that much attention. But those last couple of games, and when the attention got heightened, I was kind of bought in. But I think I was kind of treating it like an Olympics or a World Cup type thing.
Yeah, I think other countries as a whole, I think that like they're way more invested in anything that represents their country. I'm sure like Venezuela, like when they won, I guarantee you there's people in the streets probably celebrating, right? Like being hyped. Whereas the USA, it's like, I mean, and again, maybe it's because we have the World Series, and you're gonna tell me that the World Baseball Classic was better than the 2025 2025 World Series that we just watched. Like, that was incredible. So to me, it's like, it's cool, but I just feel like it'll always matter more to other countries than it matters to us, and not that, like, for me, I'm always rooting for USA, but I just think, like, there's just so many people that just root for certain players.
Mhm.
Like, oh, I like these 3 guys that play for the Dominican Republic, or I like Shohei and so and so, and I think that's kind of like where we're at, where a lot of fans in the country of baseball, they're not fans of teams, they're fans of players, and so it's like, oh, these guys are on this team. I'm not really invested in the USA, so and again, this is just me running my mouth, but it seems like it matters more to
What?
other. Yeah, that's a first, right?
You run your mouth?
Never. But I and again, not to get off topic, but to me, I just find it interesting that other countries that, when they're involved in any kind of, like, a sporting event, where they're facing different nations, like, no matter what, like, they're rocking with their nation. Whereas, like Cuba, Venezuela, like, you think those guys liked who were in charge? You know what I mean? But, like, that didn't matter when it came to, like, competition. They're rocking with their country, dude. And I just find that interesting that sometimes, like, in the United States of America, that's not always, the same thought process, where it's like they have may have a problem with who's in charge, and that that affects their decisions and influences for things that have nothing to do with that. So just a thought.
It's true, but I don't
agree with thought from Brew Down. You know what I mean? Just
I think if you're talking about someone like, let's take Venezuela just as an example, like, they just got invaded not too long ago, and yes, I get it. Like, a lot of people were happy about it, even in their country. So but yeah, I mean, when the president of the country that you want to beat so bad talks basically down to other nations all the time, then, like, yeah, there's an extra motivation, not only by the people that live there, but obviously I'm sure there was influence to them to an extent by whoever's supporting them.
I'll let you finish. Don't get it twisted. I'm not even saying that there's some kind of extra motivation or whatever. It's just like, no matter what, the people are rocking with their country. Like, they can be playing water polo. Like, they're like, no, So I just find that interesting, how it seems like that doesn't always happen in the United States.
No, you're right. And I think part of that is, in the U.S., we have these, like, the Little League system, right? And the traveling teams, where I would say, I'm not just the white players, but I would say, the majority of them, they've been playing in travel ball since they were like 7 years old. Like, they've had all these, like, leagues to play in. They probably play like 10 months, especially nowadays. They probably play 10 out of the 12 months a year. They're sponsored, all this. Whereas the countries, when you're talking about Venezuela, Mexico, probably not as much. Puerto Rico has leagues out there, but, like, other poorer nations, these guys are playing in the streets. They're literally, like, some of them, they have to get sponsored to even get a glove, shoes.
But I feel like baseball.
There's more pride to it.
I feel like baseball's dropped off in the United States, and all I can do is speak to what I know. And I grew up in Fremont. I played Fremont American Little League. Our city had like 6. We had different, Niles, Mission. I played Fremont American, Newark American, like, so we had like 5 or 6 different leagues, and, like, this was like from T-ball up to like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I follow them on social media. I've seen that they've had to merge with another, local Little League because they didn't have enough kids, to fill the team. So from what I see, it's like the amount of kids who are enrolled in Little, and again, you could be right, man. It could just because there's more kids who are enrolling, in travel leagues and stuff like that, and not just your standard Little League. But to me, it seems like it's a drop off in kids like getting it, because if you like, how do you get good at a sport? Get interested in a sport. It's like as a kid, right? Your parents put you in sports, and what you're good at, maybe like that you want to continue. If you don't want to be in something, they say all right. So to me, it seems like there's just not the same amount of kids playing baseball and enrolling in Little League. When I grew up, everybody in my neighborhood played ball. Like,
but see, that's where you're looking at it. You're looking at it from, and you're not wrong. You're 100% right, but you're also looking at it from the lens of the United States, right? Well, like we grew up playing pinners. We grew up like if you only had 8 guys, then you left one outfield was considered an out.
Yeah, right field was closed. Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah, you got to pull that. You got to pull it.
But right, but that's in the context of the United States. So from our standpoint, yes, it's been down. There's not as many leagues, but travel leagues have gone up. The cost of playing has gone up to the point where, yes, in our neighborhoods or the neighborhoods we grew up in, not as many kids play, but the kids that got money, they do, or the kids that are good enough to get discovered, like the two twin guy kids I have in Chicago, the reason they're able to play ball is because that traveling team they play for is sponsored by the Chicago Cubs. So everything is paid for as far as like equipment, traveling to an extent.
It's politics, basically.
Well, to an extent, but for every city that has a traveling league, which probably every city has at least one, right? It might not be little leagues, but traveling, those countries have none. There's probably one traveling league for the whole country. So everyone's trying to get on that one traveling team and get sponsored by the actual nation, so to say. But everybody else is struggling just to find places to play or wait. It's really the MLB players that are from the Dominican, that are from Puerto Rico, that open up centers out there. That's the only reason those kids can play is because they open up centers in those particular towns.
Yeah, no, and
there's two really good points in the chat. John Bull, that the youth isn't watching baseball. No, I'm going to. And then Kyle, kids don't be outside anymore.
That too.
So, right? So unless your parents put you in sports, because
that's my point.
That was my first sport. I played t-ball. I played for like 2-3 years, switched over to basketball, and then I played softball. But yeah, like I don't see kids like really tapping in maybe like they used to.
Yeah,
it's definitely gone down for sure.
And to Kyle's point, with kids just aren't outside anymore. How many times? I mean, again, I haven't in the last 10, 15 years. I haven't seen this. When kids are playing outside these days, when they are outside, how many times are you seeing them play hot box? The kids don't even know how to play that anymore.
We played that, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how many kids are playing three flies up?
That's different. That's a different hot box. I'm sorry,
David. But I'm saying, like nobody plays it anymore. No kids are outside playing wiffle ball anymore. They're either playing basketball or they're going to practice playing AAU ball. They're playing travel ball. They're playing soccer. And kids aren't outside playing baseball anymore.
But even that, David, to prove the point of the country part is, even I can tell you right now, playing pickup ball, there's not as many outside courts full of kids playing pickup ball. There's a couple in the cities, and that's it. But like there used to be one. We would go play at like 10 different parks.
Yeah. Hey, let me push back on the technology. Let me push back on the technology stuff. Wait a minute.
Let me finish my sentence. Thank you, Drew. Just saying. So, but basketball is as popular as it's ever been. But to your point, like I think in neighborhood-wise, yes, I think most sports, because kids aren't outside as much, has gone down. But the traveling leagues, the kids that are the creme of the crop, I think that's as popular as it's ever been. It's just, are the parents that can afford to put those kids in those programs, those are the kids that are benefiting from that.
And that's part of the problem. It's like a pay-to-play system. But the technology stuff, I want to push back a little bit, because let's not act like we didn't have our technology. We might not have had a phone, but we had a Game Boy. Bro, I was heavy on that Pokemon.
That ain't the same, though.
I was heavy on that Pokemon Red, boy. What you talking about?
That.
Okay, Manny. Yeah, okay.
I don't.
We had my parents' house. My mom had Sega free Sunday. She said, "Get your ass off the Sega.
That's so different, though. Like video games that we had, like, is so different than the technology.
It is, but it isn't. It is, but it isn't.
You couldn't, yeah, but you couldn't talk to anybody online playing Sega.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
now the kids could
I mean,
you
no,
know,
no, you're
Kids
right.
have to come to my
We rode
house.
our bikes. It is. It's different, but at the same time, like we had the same 24 hours we did now. You know, kids do now as we did, and I mean, there was technology. Obviously, it's a different world because people don't want to go, you know, play video games. They want to log on to Twitch and watch this dude play Call of Duty. Right? It's like, it's.
But I think what my point was when saying that the kids weren't outside playing those games that we used to play, you know, like your 3 Flies Up, your Hot Box, your pickup games. I think you're also missing out on some athletes that wanted to play baseball because they can't afford to play travel ball. You know, maybe those kids would play high school ball because it's free.
100%.
You know, and that's kind of the point I was making.
Like Little League, that's where Little League comes in because it's not much. And I'm not gonna lie, I played Little League up until I was like 17, 18. We got double headers on Sunday. Our parents would barbecue. But when I went out for high school ball, it's like it's different. Like it's politics, and it's like, oh, this kid played, you know, on our team, and his dad. So it's like I'm sure it's the same with the travel ball. It's like whereas Little League, it don't matter. Everybody paid the same $80 to sign up. It's like whoever's the best player, you know what I mean, they're gonna rise to the top.
Technically, people don't know that you can play. You're like by their own charter. You're supposed to be able to play Little League for free.
Yeah, if you can't afford it. Yeah, there's something like that.
You can't afford it. They're supposed to let you play for free.
Oh, and it's just an even playing field. It's no politics. I mean, obviously, as it's usually volunteer coaches, right? And it's just you're trying to play, you know. And I remember I was young, it was like minor B was like 7 and 8. Bro, we was running hitting double play. Like it's like my dad was about it. He would buy those drills where they were throwing balls from center field into the little bucket at home plate.
He's watching the Tom Lemansky drills.
Oh yeah, dead ass. My dad would remember that Ken Griffey team.
I remember that.
That was my dad literally. This guy on our team, his dad welded. He had him weld like two different tees that were the exact dimensions of that Ken Griffey tee. So like my dad was about it. He was just like wanted the best. He was on my ass more than anybody else, but you know, whatever. But yeah, but it's like that's where you're missing is like, you know, players and coaches that just really care and like want to help kids get better. And then sometimes with travel league, it doesn't, you know, it's not always like that. And to your point, David, I agree 100%. Sometimes you're missing out on kids who may not have the means, but he's a natural and the kid works his ass off and you know, and he might turn out to go to that JUCO and you know, next thing you know, he's in the league, but he didn't get a chance to play for that Babe Ruth travel team.
Well, what it is sports has become exactly what this country has become. It's either you're either rich or you're poor. There's no middle class anymore in sports. So either, you know, you can't play sports, right? Because you don't have the money to play it, or you have so much money, your parents have so much money, they can afford to put you in travel teams and, you know, teams like that and get you coaches because they got the money to do it. Like, that's hard. Like, it's almost as a parent, like I always used to joke about Ellie about this with Ellie. Like, I hope you're not great at athletes because I can't afford a good athlete. Like,
it's always.
Like, I don't know how David does it. David has like his kids.
It's always been like that to an extent, right? But now it's just like like even like the middle class, you know, like no, I agree, and that's I feel like with because you know you should be able to have a local league and you know your kid's balling, he goes to high school and he gets scouted, but now it's like. You got to get into the system early, right, and get into that whole political.
Know someone that knows somebody.
Yeah, and so it's like, and that's not what youth sports should be about, right? Youth sports should be about kids having fun, and that's corny, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like they should want to play baseball and have fun doing it, and you know, want to get better. And if they really love the game, they're gonna do everything they can to get better. And then who knows where that takes them in life, you know? These
kids are treated like a business at the age of 10, basically, if they're good. And that's done. And that's part of why I think you see, like, even though we always have these discussions in general about sports, about, man, with all the way medical things are nowadays and the advancements, why are so many Tommy John surgeries? Why are so many breakdowns? Because these kids are playing, you're treating them like a business since the age of 10 and you're wearing out their bodies. No kid should be pitching that much with his arm before he gets to high school. And they are. And by the time they get to the pros, that arm is just a noodle. So it's on borrowed time at that point. Like he might be the greatest pitcher coming out of college, but it's on borrowed time, that arm. It's going to need some kind of surgery at some point because he's been pitching 12 months a year instead of just in the Little League season. Now he's playing and traveling, going to Puerto Rico to play in the league when it's snowing at home. So he's continuously playing and wearing that arm out. So it's just, again, like it is what it is, and it's how the sports have become. And unfortunately, again, these kids are treated like it's a business. If they have any talent at all, they're treated as a straight up investment from that early age on. It's unfortunate. And speaking of investments, NCAA tournament, baby. I'm not doing no Dickie V voice. I'm not KC.
Diaper dandies.
Oh, you just sounded Italian right there. You just sounded like you stole a pizza. It's a mania.
Drew, I need you to move that router back where it was, because
what?
your internet is too crisp. I'm not laughing.
Really good.
I moved it 6 inches to the right, and that was the perfect spot. So do what you want with that info.
So
no comment.
I'm curious, like, what is? I mean, even the casual people, like casual fans, always fill out brackets, right? It's the beauty of the tournament is even if you didn't have time to watch games, as soon as tournament time comes around, you're going to either play in a free league or give your $20 and hope that you can get lucky and pick the right teams. And it makes the games even better, right? Like it just makes March Madness such a great event. And but anybody have any early picks? Who's your pick to win it all? Any upsets you see coming through? Like, I see a couple upsets for sure.
I want to shout out Michigan and John Poles.
No.
I've been a college, casual, and those two gentlemen have really opened my eyes to great basketball. Really great basketball. So I just want to make sure shout out Michigan and John Poles. Thank you so much. I can't take all the credit for my college knowledge. I got to shout out those two gentlemen. So thanks again, guys. You guys are great friends.
And that was the moment of glaze with Drew Down.
They literally were in a separate chat a day ago threatening him and writing this for him and told him if he didn't read this, that he would never see his wife again.
No.
Just telling you the truth.
That's not a threat, dog.
They'll probably both be mad at me because I'm not picking UCLA or Michigan to win it. I like that. I actually have Arizona taking it all this year. Okay. And with my luck, they'll be out in the second round. So
with my luck, I have no idea, and I'm gonna pick who I want, and I'm gonna win, right?
There you go. What about you, Drew?
I never been a bracket guy, but I'm interested to see how some of these projected top picks, the Acuffs, the Devontas, the Darren Peterson, Flemings, I'm kind of interested to see how some of these guys perform, and also. Every year there's going to be some guys on teams that are maybe a little bit underrated, and then they have a big performance in the tournament, and maybe their draft stock rises. So yeah, I'll be watching. And like I said, I wouldn't be, but thanks to some good friends, John Poles and Michigan, they really opened my eyes to some good basketball that I've been sleeping on. It was a chink in my armor, So now I'm locked up. I'm good, The holes are gone. So thanks to Poles, no more holes. So
they are the holes.
Thank you, guys.
Both of them are holes.
So glad I didn't say that. Nope.
It is what it is.
I have a tradition every year. No matter if they were like 80-0, I will never, ever pick Duke to win. I hate the Duke men's team. I don't care. They're my one arch nemesis, so I refuse to pick them. Although that was hard this year because I feel like all around they have one of the best all-around best teams coming out, and obviously Boozer leading the way. But
Nick P wants to chime in.
No, he doesn't.
Trying to see my.
But in their bracket, like I looked down their bracket, and some of the main teams like Duke. Obviously, Ohio State is playing against TCU. That's a good game. The 5-12 game, which is always the 5-12 is usually there's at least one 12 that beats a 5 almost every year, if not a couple. St. John's plays Northern Illinois. I got St. John's on that. Mm-hmm. Kansas is in that bracket. Louisville, but the kicker with Louisville is Mikal Brown is out for at least the first game of the tournament. Not sure how long that's going to last, and I think obviously him being their top guy, that could definitely affect how far they go. So I actually picked South Florida in that game, just as an upset. Michigan State plays North Dakota State. UCLA plays USCF. And I think everyone should watch that UConn Furman game. And I'm not saying that Furman's going to win, but UConn has been struggling towards the end of the year. And they haven't wrote that ship yet. Like, they lost early in the tournament, in the conference tournament. So they're kind of backpedaling into the tournament. So I could see them lose in either the first or second round. And I think UCLA is a good enough team, but I just don't think they have what it takes to beat. One good thing for UCLA is being in the Big Ten. They've got to play in a good Big Ten conference, so that might help them throughout the tournament. But I'm just not sure. Yeah, good competition daily or weekly. So I think that bodes well for teams like that. But I'm just not sure how far they can get in the tournament. And that's the East bracket, right? So I still have Duke coming out of the East bracket. South bracket's a little bit harder, I think. You got Florida in there, Clemson, Nebraska, who's had a remarkable season this year, came out of nowhere in the Big Ten, and they haven't been good, and Lord knows how long, if it's ever even been good. I think Michigan, as much as they say Illinois can go on a run, I think there's a lot of limitations with Illinois. If they're not hitting their threes, they're basically out of it. So I have them, unfortunately, even as an Illinois fan, I have them out early in the tournament.
Yeah, the East is definitely the hardest bracket, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. St. Mary's, I think, can make a run. Houston can make a run. I love that smile on your face. But I think Houston is the one to, I really think Houston, it might be their year. I think it can be their year. They play some suffocating defense. When their threes are on and their defense is on, I don't think there's a better team in the country. So I have them coming out of that. But I think Florida will have something to say about it before the end of the tournament. But for me, I think Houston, they proved their mettle. And then Midwest, Michigan's in there. Good old Michigan. Yeah, I don't have them coming out. Some of that's because I just want to spite Michigan himself. So I'm going to admit to that. But they're a good team. They can be a great team at times. I just think they've had so many ebbs and flows throughout the season. I'm not really sure who they are. I'm not sure that they're built for a championship necessarily. They've had a great season. I can't deny that. I'm just not sure they're championship material, to be honest. Alabama's there. Miami of Ohio. That's not a very strong bracket either. Iowa State, I think, could come out of there. I like Santa Clara there, not necessarily to come out, but I think they're a 10. I think they can beat the 7th seed.
I actually have them making a run. Not to the Final Four, but I have them going to the Sweet 16.
Santa Clara?
Santa Clara.
Yeah, I can see that. I can absolutely see that. I think that they've got a good enough team to do that. And again, I don't think it's the strongest. I think it's probably one of the weaker brackets. So I think they can make a run there. And then who said they picked Arizona? Okay, so that's the West bracket. So Arizona, Villanova's in that one, Wisconsin, Arkansas, Hawaii, I think Texas might even upset BYU in that first round.
They could.
I just think they're right now, BYU is showing itself to be a one-trick pony. And it's a really good pony, don't get me wrong. Jeez. But they seem, hey, just saying. But
ride it all night, why don't you? God damn.
They gonna have to ride that pony if they want to make it to anywhere in that, because they really don't have anything else.
It's a genuine team there, huh?
It's a very genuine team. Good one. What do you guys think about Gonzaga? I know it hasn't been the traditional Gonzaga powerhouse, but they're
still a good team,
and they're a really good defensive team. Yeah.
Ramsey likes Gonzaga. I like Gonzaga.
Yeah,
I could see them. I could see them. They're for the. I got quite a few upsets happening throughout the brackets. My Final Four, I have St. John's coming out. Houston.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, St. John's, Houston, Arizona, and Virginia.
So who would be your one surprise team? Who's a team for you? You think everyone needs to watch out for?
just watching the team leading up to the tournament with St. John's.
Okay.
And St. John's could play. And
Yeah.
they play good defense. They're a good all-around team. They can get hot from three. So they're one of them. And it's not really I wouldn't say a surprise, but like I said earlier, I could see some of these WCC teams making runs because Santa Clara was good this year, and so is St. Mary's. Like they have size too. Like they're big teams. They got some.
Watch
big
out for Hawaii. Watch out for Hawaii. I may be
Hawaii
on an island by myself, but
I have them winning their first game, I think. But yeah, just watching some of these teams in their conference tournament. I'm not gonna lie, I was prisoner of the moment with like I watched a couple of the games from Virginia. Like they just look like a good team, but which is probably not gonna happen just because I'm picking them with Houston and Arizona in a tight game, and I just like Arizona. So
Sean Miller.
Yeah, Arizona's got a squad for sure. Like and that's the thing is like I think
they're young too, though.
Yeah. But I think that's the new wave, right? Like guys are leaving, like you get the new talent that comes in. Yeah, I think it's as open as field. I think we almost damn near say this every year, but especially nowadays, but it's an open field. Anyone can make a run, and I do think like matchups are big. Like you can have a great team, but if they run into that one team that just happens to match up well with them, that's where you get the upsets, and that's where you get the Cinderella runs. And it's not necessarily that they're a better team on average over the year, but that night against that particular opponent, they just match up well and give them problems. And maybe that even if it's a great team, that one weakness that great team has, this team over here, that's what they do well, and that's where they end up, overcoming. And we see where sometimes teams fold in those situations, right? Like it's easy if you're going. They'll say like it's easy if you go 28-2 because you haven't found much resistance. You find that one team that puts it on you. Sometimes players fold. They're kids at the end of the day, and sometimes it's hard for them to overcome those situations in that 48 minutes. So,
you got a point guard in the tournament that's hot. You can, that's point guard play is.
You ride that point guard to the end. You know what I'm saying? Genuine style. That's it. Ride that point guard to the end, man.
That's a different league you must be coaching in, man. I don't know.
Hey, the only league I know, sir.
Yeah.
The only league I know. But yeah, I think I look forward. I told my girls like, hey, I'm gonna work from home on Friday, man. Like I'm gonna have my 3 screens up and watching while I'm working. So
I'm sick.
Yeah. I heard like, people do that too. That's the crazy thing. Like that's not like it happens. Like
that's what the sick time is there for.
That's what it's there for. That's that trip. Go to Vegas, man. A lot of people do trips to Vegas for the tournament. Like it's the one. It's like again. I think it's one of the greatest times of the year if you're a sports fan. Is March Madness. There's always going to be a couple games that blow, like you're talking about the next day. Like man, you see that kid like the Bryce Drew like out of nowhere. Like you see that kid Bryce Drew. Like that was nuts.
I still remember I think it was my sophomore year, maybe my freshman year in high school is when UCLA made their run. And one of my teachers went to UCLA. So we got to every time and I had like kind of this homeroom type schedule where I had my first 3 periods of the day with the same teacher. We got to watch the tourney all the way through. And that's where.
Was that the O'Banion brothers?
Yep. O'Bannon brothers. Ty Sedney hit the last minute shot and we watched all that in class.
Gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. So I'm curious, before we go, we wanted to bring this like as we usually talk about this every once in a while, every couple of months or so, like what's everybody watching? Is there any particulars other than sports? Like, is there any shows that you're watching right now that you can recommend to our audience and fans? Because we have tens and tens of fans.
Tens and tens.
Man, I've been watching so a couple things. So I don't know. I was trying to find another series to watch that because Daredevil's coming back if anybody likes Marvel shows. But I watched that show Severance on Apple TV. It's weird. It's good, but it's a weird sci-fi type show.
People swear by it.
Yeah, Paradise has been pretty good. I still watch that. And this is kind of weird, but I don't know, the show's actually really good with Kurt Russell and his son. If you guys ever watched any of the Godzilla and the King Kong movies, there's a show on Apple TV. It's called Project Monarch. And
Mhm.
It's kind of in that universe, and it's about like one of the companies in there, and Kurt Russell's in it. His son they play the same character, his son in one time period and him in another. And there's
okay.
other stars, but it's pretty good. It's entertaining.
I know exactly the series. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I've heard great things about it. And just the Godzilla stuff had me like, as a sci-fi fan, I'm like, all right, I got to catch that at some point. So, yeah, that's awesome. Drew?
I've been watching this. I think it's been out for a while. It's called Indeed.
Sounds familiar. Yeah, it's a comedy, right?
You can say
And a
that.
drama.
Yeah, it's actually all that. It's action, drama,
Suspense.
horror actually. Yeah, so I've been watching Indeed a lot. So yeah, if
Okay.
you're not familiar with that, you probably
What channel? Like what? Where do you?
It's on Max, isn't it?
it's www.indeed.com.
No, nope, not doing it. Because all that's going to pop up is something like Human Centipede, and you're going to get me.
It's
I'm
a
not-
job
I'm not-
search website, you idiots.
Oh,
Dude, I don't know what you're talking
guys
about.
are
I don't watch
so
enough. I don't watch enough TV for
Go
that.
after yourself, you freaking employed pricks.
Well, that's why I went to you, because I figured you've had so much time to watch everything. You've watched everything.
Bro,
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
am
for.
looking for any reason to not be in the house, bro. I've done so many projects outside, bro. I built a new paver walkway on the side. I've been
Well,
I don't know
Yeah,
what
come
you were
over
talking
here.
about. I thought you were talking about a real show because I was
I
like,
literally, I could swear there was actually a
it's
show
called
called
Find
that.
a Job, you broke ass.
No, I was picking up what you were putting down there. I got
I'm
you.
not gonna lie. I thought it was an actual show.
I know. I was like,
Yeah, it's a show. Yeah, I watch it
entertaining.
a lot.
How do you have so much time to be able to watch shows? Because I mean, we got this like drama comedy shit show in the Kings, and just keeping up with
I don't
that.
watch a lot
I
of
mean,
shows. I watch Triple D's, to be honest with you.
Wow.
That's Diners,
Wow.
Drive-ins, and Dives.
Oh, okay.
oh,
Yeah,
there!
yeah.
Shout out.
I watch a lot of sports. Yeah, I'm working with my dad on some. We working on a little some with some sports. So I've been doing a little bit of research and development for that. So that's where my time has been. Yeah, that's my wife. My wife watches Secret Wives of Mormons. Love Island, Blind Island, whatever. Love is Blind.
So if you want to cry,
My wife
Why?
is the one to ask for that. Yeah, I don't watch a lot of that. I watch an unhealthy amount of sports and podcasts and Triple D's and maybe a Family Feud rerun for the 18th time, something like that.
Can't go wrong.
I was saying, like, I'm waiting for Daredevil.
Porcupine.
I'm waiting for
Jose.
Daredevil. I
Jose,
like
what you
Paradise. The Night Agent. I was waiting for that to came back. I'm in the middle of trying to catch the latest season of The Night Agent, but that's it for me. Like I said, Paradise. I'm still working my way through this past season that just happened, and then when Daredevil hits, I'll go through that whole thing within a day.
Hey, and that's my dog in the chat. Bring him up.
Huh?
That's my dog right there. Neil Bansraj. Shout out my boy. That's my guy right there.
Bye.
That's my guy.
hey,
that
dude,
also
good
your
job
guy
if you're
that was
hiring,
crashing
Neil.
out
I
in the
told you
chat?
the numbers was spiking, bro. Yeah.
Was that your
That's
dude
dope.
that was crashing out earlier?
No.
Because every time I saw all these new guys crashing, I'm like, that's got to be Drew.
No, he said, hey, nah. If he did, it's fake news. That's my guy. I'm rocking with
I
him.
hear you.
Thank you, Neil. That's
Okay.
my boy.
Like, well, if you just came in now for sports, it's almost over, buddy. I don't.
He's
I don't
here,
know.
bro. Hey, we need the numbers, dude. Beggars can't be
You're
choosers,
right.
bro.
Thank you, sir. We
Like
appreciate it.
I'm doing
Give
my
us a-
best. What the hell?
Damn.
What about you, Katrina? Have you been able to catch anything?
Like I just said, I'm watching way too much of the Kings. I got to
Oh,
get to the
okay.
point where, I get the text. Are you still watching? Turn it off. Okay. All right. I'll turn it off.
There you go.
No, I don't. No. Between the show, between sports, between podcasts, listening to music,
Casts.
podcasts. Reasonable Doubt is a good one. They just started production on season 4, so I need to catch up on that. I just started Paradise. I'm way behind on that.
It's a great show.
Cheaters.
Okay.
Old episodes of Cheaters.
Those are hilarious. Those are actually hilarious to watch.
Especially with Peter Guns. During COVID times, Peter Guns.
Peter himself?
Yes.
Like Peter Guns? Like as in...
Yeah. Oh my God. Did you not watch that?
No. I watched like the old ones.
No.
I said, how you gonna get on me for cheating when you was doing the same shit?
I was trying to find it. Like I was trying to find it on YouTube TV. It's on Samsung TV. There's the hookup. If anyone has Samsung TV.
What the fuck is Samsung TV?
If you got a Samsung TV, they hook it up.
You do. There's a channel on there.
Are you serious?
Yes.
So I it's not a new show, but one that came back. Probably my favorite show, Scrubs, came back. And
I saw that.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's been pretty good, man. Like it's
a new one. Is it?
Yeah, there's a new season. Yeah,
that's new season.
I heard from everything. I didn't. I'm not gonna lie.
All season was sporadically. All Scrubs was underrated as hell. That show was funny.
It was funny.
I heard that the new one it's flawless as far as like getting back into it, like all the characters.
I tried watching the new Office, but I turned that shit off with Kenny Caraway.
I never watched that. Never watched
The Paper or whatever it is.
I don't know, whatever it was. I was like, nah, like you can't like. It doesn't always work. Just because you throw the name on it, don't mean that
it's hard to recapture the magic, man.
It was Steve Carell. Steve Carell was the magic. Man. I mean, obviously, you had the supporting guy, but Steve Carell was a majority of that show.
I thought like the last couple of years we've seen like people like Roseanne came back. Like a lot of things came back, right? Where they were trying to recapture that.
Because they lazy
and it doesn't work.
Lazy and unimaginative, dude. No imagination.
But even when they took her out of it.
No, let me cook. Cook, Manny. This ain't just the movies. This is TV, the movies. These lazy ass producers, lazy ass production companies talking about let's make Spider-Man 17. Let's make, Avatar 14. Let's make
Fast and the Furious 27.
Like, bro, where's the original ideas at with your lazy ass? Do something. Use your brain. Be creative. Hit the ZA one time, get into a little different universe. Maybe have an original idea for once instead of recreating a classic that's freaking 20 years old. That's not a classic. You're lazy. Do better. That's my rant.
Damn.
Wow, Mad Dog in the house. Jesus.
Thanks, Grant.
On first take.
If you don't like that, you don't like real movies.
Wow. Jesus.
Hello Kitty.
That's what Hello Kitty does to you, huh? It just makes you angry, I guess.
Yeah, Sakirin, that trailer looked good. The new Spider-Man movie. Yeah.
I'm off because I'm off those.
How original, right? God damn it.
It is original, actually.
How original. New Spider-Man 17. Peter Parker. Never heard of him before, right?
It's newish.
Let me guess. Mary Jane's involved?
That's how Marvel.
Man, get the hell out of here. He's got a
that's Marvel Ben. Casuals talking right now.
Let me guess.
Mary Jane isn't involved. Michelle Jones is.
Get the hell out of here.
You're a casual.
Do better.
You're a casual. I get it.
Better. Leave the comics to Kyron.
Okay. All right. On that note, I appreciate everybody joining us.
Yes. Please come back.
Please
come back. Your movie producers, don't come back. Go back to the drawing board.
Oh. Okay. So anyways.
I will, when I release any content, I will make sure to put the volume down a little bit.
Please do.
I don't want to scare any kids.
He blew out my speakers again.
All right. Like, subscribe.
Woo.
Comment down below, I guess. And see you later.
Have a good night, everyone.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Chatty House. We ballin', boy. We going up at the Chatty House. We talk about it all, bring the family out. Sub to the channel, hit the likes now. And we only going up when the lights down. Yeah, we just getting started. Ain't no party like a Chatty House party. We just getting started. Ain't no party like a Chatty House party.